AM 1430 KRGI 105.5 FM. Good morning. I'm Brian Gallagher. This is Community Connection. It's brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda, Nebraska's only combined Toyota Honda dealership. Thursdays, we turn our focus to education here for Grand Island Public Schools. Superintendent Matt Fisher. How was Christmas? Have a good time?
Well, it was great.
Yeah.
You know, have a day or two away from the office and get to catch up with all the kids and my own kids instead of, kids from across the
And now you have
city.
a grandkid in your world.
I do, and that's exciting. We had a 9-month-old that was the first time we've had a baby at Christmas in quite a few years.
I'm enjoying that world now, too, so that's good. Plus, we get to talk about a new one coming in the summer, but we'll talk more about that as we go. Let's talk about the real reason you're here. We want to look back a little bit on some of the things that they're working on, planning for the future. But we want to talk, too, about a chance. Well, this really is a look back, or more correctly, it's a Pathback. You have a Pathback teacher starting soon here?
We do. Our teachers will return on January 3rd, and then we've got students back on the 4th, and we have, for the first time ever, we have one of our Pathback teachers. Ms. Guerrero is going to be joining the Stolly Park staff as a first grade teacher, I believe, and that Pathback program, which, she's the first one that's gone all the way through, where we offered them employment at the time that they graduated from high school. And now she's gone through the cycle of completing her college coursework. She's student taught with us in the fall, and now she's going to be a full-time employee of Grand Island Public Schools come this spring semester.
Wow. I remember when this whole concept was discussed and saying that the offers were going to go out, and now that this thing comes to fruition, that has to really feel good.
Well, absolutely, and couldn't come at a better time either, because obviously we are in the middle of a teacher shortage, and if we can grow our own and get kids excited about coming back and being a part of Grand Island Public Schools at the time that they're leaving, that hopefully gives us a good chance of having them back as teachers later on.
I had a chance to visit with a friend who teaches and coaches, and his daughters were home. Both of them are preparing to get into education. In fact, one is going to start student teaching here very soon. Ran into another friend who has a daughter that is teaching and is going to start her student teaching now this spring. So there's growth there, but it still takes time for all of this to get there. And when that shortage hits, and teaching isn't alone, but it's just real. When it's down, it takes time for that to grow up. It's kind of like, you may have a garden, but you got to do some tilling.
Yes, absolutely. And there is, when you look at the numbers of students coming out of colleges in the teacher preparation programs, there's definitely a shortage of them coming. So anytime you have one of those friends that has kids that are in education, you keep encouraging them to keep doing that.
He says, just all you have to do is remember, hey, I know some people. Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
See what I can do.
For sure. And make sure and tell them how great a place Grand Island is to teach.
I'm happy to do that. All right. So that's going to be coming up in January. Now, something else that's coming up in January, and this is big stuff, district accreditation.
Yeah, we are gearing up for our accreditation visit at the end of January. So every 5 years, school districts have to bring in an external group to really take a look at what they're doing in the education that they're providing. And so we've got a group lined up that will be here at the end of January, and we will show them the different things that we'll do. We'll talk about our strategic plan with them. And they'll give us input on, here are things that we see that we think you're doing really well, and here are things that we see that we think you really need to think about as far as, maybe making some adjustments. And in the end, then, we will come out of that and we'll, revisit our strategic plan and talk about, okay, what things on that strategic plan have been completed, what things do we need to continue to work towards, are there new things that we need to add to the strategic plan? And so it really is kind of a reset in terms of what we're looking at and how we want to continue to move the district forward.
This will be a new one for you in relation to your current position with Grand Public Schools. Now, you've seen this type of an effort before during your tenure at Northwest, but now at GIPS, it'll be taking a look at their plan and seeing how it now adapts to your part in the plan.
Right. It's a great opportunity for us to really look at, what's been done in the past and what's working really well and maybe where we want to make some changes. And obviously with what we're doing in terms of our, restructuring with the academies and trying to figure out where we're going financially, it really is kind of a opportune time to really think about, okay, what are the things that we really want to make sure that we keep? Are there things that we can, move away from? So it is a nice timed event for us.
This is one of those snapshots that I think all of us really want to have. You might be a little leery at first, but then you realize, I need to have this snapshot. We need to know where we are. We need to have an understanding of our status and our goals and our path.
Exactly. And really the people that we're going to bring in are people that are educators across the state. And anytime you've got people that come in and are able to look at things with a little bit different eye, you always come out of that with some ways to move ahead that maybe you weren't able to see because you're looking at it every day. So I think it is a good thing.
So when they come, and as you mentioned, it's educators from around the state, they will be classroom observations, all kinds of different things will be in their scope. How long does it take, and how long will you have to wait for results?
Well, they'll be here for a couple of days, and they will visit each of the buildings. It's a pretty big team, so different groups of them will visit each of the different buildings. They'll meet with different groups. They'll meet with parent groups. They'll meet with community groups. They'll meet with teacher groups and really collect information. And then at the time that they're done, they'll give us a brief exit report, just kind of here are some highlights of the things that we saw. And then they will go back and they'll develop a more comprehensive report that we'll probably have within a month or so of the time that they're here. So by this spring, we'll be ready to really take the information that they share with us and develop that into our plan moving ahead.
So then the new plan will form based on that input and see how you've done against the current one. Got it. All right. Matt Fisher, Superintendent for Grand Island Public Schools. So winter activities getting ready to begin anew after the holiday moratorium. In fact, I know there's some holiday tournament basketball going on. I know there's bowling going on. Wrestling just wrapped up with the Fracas and their duels just prior to the holidays. So busy times. It is, and continue to chug along there. I think our boys play Kearney today. We'll certainly hope that they can find a win there. Anytime we can beat Kearney is a good thing, right? Fortunately, both of our wrestling teams were able to beat Kearney in a duel right before Christmas, so we'll continue to enjoy that win. Oh, he has a big smile on his face right now.
Yeah, those rivalry things, it doesn't take long to figure out who those are.
Well, it's fun to me, too, when I go back and forth, but especially when we get a chance to have the matchups between Senior High and Kearney. Everybody's wearing their own T-shirts, and I don't have to ask what the abbreviations are for. I know exactly what they mean, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah, it is. And obviously, along with all the sports stuff, this is kind of the kickoff of our show choir season, the kickoff of speech, and so there's a lot of stuff that takes place over the course of the next few months.
I'll be anxious to see how it all goes. Matt Fisher from Grand Island Public Schools, thanks for the update. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Good morning from AM 1430 KRGI 105.5 FM.